What is up, everybody? In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to get your first land wholesaling deal within your first 2 weeks. And I'm also going to show you how to do it without putting up any of your own money, right? So I've done over 750 of these deals, my brother and I's company. Over the past 36 months alone, we've done over $500,000 in profit in a single month. And I'm going to show you guys step by step exactly how you can get started today in this business to flip land to home builders. And you're just sourcing their land for them and they pay you out a finder's fee for finding their deals, right? So it's a 3-step system. I'm going to show you guys everything, and I'm also going to show you how to do it completely for free, right? Right. So what is wholesaling real estate, right? And this is wholesaling houses, multifamily, buildings. You can do this with anything. But basically what wholesaling real estate is it is selling someone else's property without ever owning it yourself, right? So in this example here, this would probably be like a house deal, right? So a seller would say, "Hey, I'll sell my house for $200,000." Now, the wholesaler, which would be you, is not actually putting up $200,000. They're just having them sign a contract that says they can resell this or assign their property for more money, right? So then when you find a buyer for $215,000, you get the buyer to sign the same property at $215,000, you have the seller at $200,000, you make $15,000 without putting up a dollar of your own money, right? So I'm going to show you guys exactly how to do that with land and how we've been able to do this over 750 times in the last 3 years, right? So, and again, even with $0, you can make this work. Here's my bank account. Back, we started the company July 1st. This was May 17th in 2022. You can see I had $73, right? So there are 3 secrets to land flipping that we're going to be going over, right? How to lock in home builders that will buy your deals from you for completely for free, how to ethically lock up sellers at a cheaper price than the builders will pay, and how to make sure the deal goes through with a title company and that you don't have to pay for that, the buyer does, and to make sure that you get paid your money, right? So step 1, why would the home builders work with you, right? How many lots do they even need to buy? Well, here is 2024 data, right? So this is just some of the top home builders. There's thousands throughout the country. D.R. Horton alone had 93,000 closings. Lennar, 80,000. You guys can just see the numbers, and it's actually going up, right? So here's the building growth. From 2010, there was 600,000 building permits filed. In 2021, there was 1.7 million, right? So I asked ChatGPT, I said, is this going to continue to go up? And here was ChatGPT's real projections, right? So from 600,000 in 2010 to 2.5 million in 2031, right? So this is not going away anytime soon. It's only growing. Still an industry not many people know about. So I'm super, super excited that I'm able to show you guys and we can hopefully partner on deals, right? So why don't the home builders just go to the sellers themselves? And that is for one word, and that word is off market, right? We are never getting these properties off market for the most part. So I'm going to show you guys how to get properties off market for completely for free, right? So the builders couldn't find them without you. And then why would the builder pay me $5,000 to $10,000 fee? And that is because we are going to be cheaper than the agent, right? So we will always give the builder the lots cheaper than they can otherwise get them on the market, right? So a realtor would say, my client wants 30 grand. We're going to say, I'll give you the same lot down the street for 25. Meanwhile, we have it at 20, right? So the seller gets the 20, we get the 5,000, builder gets a lot for 25, and they save 5 grand than going on the market, right? So it actually saves them money. And can't the builder just go straight to the seller and cut you out? No, they can't, because the seller's locked under contract with you. If the seller tries to cut you out, you can file a memorandum and they can never sell that property, right? So no, the seller cannot go behind your back and work with the builder once they sign that initial contract, which I'm going to show you here, right? So should answer all the questions there. Why would the home builders actually work with us? So how do you actually find a builder though, right? I know we're talking about all these builders, but how do you really find them? So it's super simple. You're going to go to Zillow.com. You're going to go to the newly built houses, find a zip code with 10 or more, and then you're going to find their contact on Google, right? So I'm going to go right now. I'm just going to pull it up, and we are going to go to Zillow.com, right? So on Zillow, I'm just going to start. Let's go Tampa, Florida, right? Because we're out there right now. Tampa, Florida. I'm going to pull up Tampa, Florida. So you're going to want to go to for sale. This doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. Home type. So actually, even though we're doing lots, you're going to deselect. You're going to click on houses, and I'm going to show you why. Next, you are going to scroll down to here, and you're going to put year built, 2024. So what all these red dots are, there's 237 in Tampa. It's showing me all of the houses that were built in 2024 or 2025, right? So look at all these new home builders. Look at all these home builders that want land, and you just scroll around and look for a lot of red dots, right? Like there's a ton right there. There's 5,000 new home builders in this area alone. And it looks like there's a bunch down here. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on Lehigh Acres right here, right? So just in this little market right here, there is, as we can see here, 665 home builders, right? So we know there's home builders, and you can start to see, okay, Lennar, that's a Lennar build. And you can see all these companies, right? And they need more land to build on. So how are we going to find these builders, right? So the first way is easy. You can just call the agent and say, hey, who's your builder? I'll pay you out if we do a deal with them, right? Second way is literally just to go back to Google and put Lehigh Acres home builders, right? And contact information. Can't forget that. So I personally, I don't love calling people, right? I like to work in the evenings. They don't answer their phone. So I just go down this list. I go on their websites. I collect their email. And then once you have their email, this is the email that you're actually going to send the builder, right? You're going to send that email to this builder. Good morning, good afternoon. I hope this email finds you well. I am reaching out because I see you built newly homes in Lehigh Acres. I bring builders property below market value. We work backwards and we want to target properties based on what you are specifically buying. You tell us what you want and what you want to pay, and we will bring the deals to you. If you have any interest in us bringing you your deals, please let me know exactly what you're looking for. An example is their wetland specific zoning, and we'll also need an EMD due diligence and title company so you can match up the contracts. Looking forward to your business. Thanks, right? And you just send this out 10 times a day to different builders. Again, there were 600 in Lehigh. You can get a builder to respond. They're going to respond something that looks a little bit like this, right? So they're going to give you their buy box, right? So this builder, for an example, has all these markets are buying it, right? So if I wanted to buy again in Lehigh Acres, he said he'll pay $23,000 for anything in this zip code, right? So I know I have a builder at $23,000 in this zip code, right? So we got the builder locked in. Now it is time to find the seller, right? So we got to find a seller for less than $23,000. If we get one at $20,000, we make $3,000, right? So won't we all be chasing the same sellers though? Well, I asked ChatGPT, house flipping versus land flipping. How much is it more saturated, right? Which is more saturated by how much? So house flipping is massively more saturated than land flipping, likely by a factor of 20 to 40 times, depending on how you define active, right? And again, this is ChatGPT. This is not me saying it. And again, keep in mind, house flipping works and it works well, right? So it is 20 to 40 times less saturated. Nobody really knows about this yet. You guys are still early. In a decade from now, you might not be, right? So, and here's another example, right? There was 50,000 land sales in Florida alone in the last 12 months, right? So these land deals are everywhere. So how do we actually find a seller for less? We're going to go right back to Zillow, right? So Zillow.com. I'm going to go to that zip code. He said 33976. So I'm going to type it in. And here we go. We still got all the new construction homes. Look at this. We know he'll pay $20,000. So all these lots right here, if I get them for $20,000, he'll pay $23,000, excuse me. If I just offer them all $20,000 and one says yes, we make $3,000 profit, right? So how do you actually find their number, right? Is you get the address right there, you write it down, you go to this free website, truepeoplesearch.com, right? And you type in the address right here. You type the address in, it'll give you their phone number for completely free, right? So as soon as you get their phone number and you just one after the next, call one after the next, and as soon as they answer, you can either text them or call them. Hey, my name's Jackson. I'm looking to buy more property out there. I work with a ton of builders and investors. I can give you $20,000 plus all closing fees, and I can get this closed in, my builder said 30 days, in 30 days or less, right? So as soon as you say that and you do this, again, if you do this 100 times a day, what are the odds you can't get one in a month to say yes? That's 3,000 people you called. And if you get one to say yes, you make $3,000, right? If you offer them $17,000, you get $6,000, right? So you just do that on repeat, right? So let's say you finally get that seller to say yes at $20,000. You are going to send them this contract, right? So you fill in the date, your name, seller's name goes right there. This word assigned is the most important part, right? So this means that I can sell their property to someone else without ever owning it myself, right? Purchase price, I put $20,000. The buyer gave you the title company, the buyer gave you their EMD, and the buyer gave you their days, right? So that's all, that's why we asked that. That's all the contract is. You sign, they sign. So why would the seller sign and not just use an agent? And it's a great question, right? If we're bringing it under market, can't they just list it with an agent? Well, they could, but again, I told them I'm going to cover closing fees. I'm going to close in 30 days or less. You're going to get 20 grand cash, right? And the agent might say, hey, no, it's worth 30. Let's list it for 30. It's not worth 30. So the builder already said they'll only pay 23. So it's going to sit on the market for 6 months. Maybe then they drop the price to 24.9 because they're upset. They get an offer at 22. They take it. They pay the agent their broker fees and both agents. They pay $2 grand there. They pay $1,800 in title work, and they just spend 8 months to get 18 grand when they could have got 20 with us. So we're actually helping the sellers in this process, right? So we're helping the builder sell or save money. We're helping the seller sell their property. So it's well worth it for the seller to sign that contract that we just sent them. So once they sign, we're going to go back to that builder that said they pay 23 and send them this contract, right? And here you go. Here, a signer has an assignable purchase contract on the property, right? So the buyer signs this contract that you're going to put, again, you're going to put the buyer right there, the address, the purchase price, the earnest money, the closing date, the same things you put in the seller contract. They're going to sign, and then you are going to sign there, right? So you fill those in, right? Now it's time for the last secret, right? That is to get paid with a title company legally, right? So you're going to send this email to a title company. You can just call any title company in the zip code and say, hey, do you do assignments? If they say yes, you are going to send them this email, right? So the property address assignment, Hello, I hope you're doing well. We're going to be doing an assignment for this property. I input all the seller, buyer, and assigner information below. Please confirm receipt. Thank you. Please wire our funds, and then you include your wire information. You put the closing date, the seller name, the seller phone, the seller email, and the price on the seller contract, $20,000. Your name, your number, your email, $3,000. The buyer name, buyer phone number, buyer email, $23,000. You put both contracts, sit and forget it, right? Just send it and you're done. So then, about 2 weeks later, they're going to send you a HUD. You want to check out the HUD. So this is just like the final thing before the closing. So this was a deal we did, right? We got the seller down here. You're going to want to make sure this looks right. Due to seller, we got this deal at 165, right? So the seller gets 165. We sold it for 275. So sales price 275. That looks right. You're going to want to make sure 165, 275. And then our assignment fee, this was a big one. We got a $110,000 wire on this deal, right? Insane deal, right? And we put it on a HUD, which is a little risky. But that once you approve that HUD, then it starts to get fun, right? So 2 to 3 weeks later, you are going to get the wire that looks like this, right? And you can just see some of the wires that we've gotten, 56, 26, 191, another big one. That was a commercial deal. But you guys can see these wires, right? And how possible it is and how easy it is. And there's no other steps that I'm not going over in this, right? So again, you're going to find the buyer, you're going to find the seller, then you're going to put the two contracts together, send it to title, and you guys are completely done with this, right? So then after you get paid, this is something I just threw in there because I love to do it. And we did a lot of deals like this last year. We send the seller an email and we actually mail them a branded letter. And it just says, hey, it's Jackson. It was great working with you. Thank you for being so awesome to work with. I would love to do more deals with you. If you refer anyone to me, a cousin, an uncle, brother, and they have a similar lot, which a lot of these people bought their lots together, I will give them the same price. And if we close on that deal, I will send you $1,000 cash when it's done, right? And we did 22 deals of referrals in 2024 for a $455,000 revenue, right? And we paid out the 22 grand because they brought us the deals, right? So the average of that was 20,000 because we did have a $210,000 deal that came out of that, right? So that's why I'm so heavy on these. These are just free deals, right? So anytime you do a deal, thanks for your business. If you give us any more, I'm going to pay you, right? So again, guys, that is the step-to-step process on how to wholesale land. If anyone has any questions, comment them below. Make sure to like and subscribe. We're going to be posting a lot more videos. And if anyone is interested in a little bit of paid mentorship, there is a link below that you guys can book a call in with our team.